Stop running the internal monologue of a victim. You are trapped in a loop, not by circumstance, but by the relentless destructive habit of obsessing over why things went wrong, instead of deciding how to make things right. That is a problem, not a philosophy. This is your intervention. The time you spend analyzing the problem is time you are actively refusing the solution. You will learn the single, non-negotiable mental shift that ends paralysis. The answer is the objective. Focus on the answer. The problem is irrelevant. Your transformation starts now. Chapter 1. The Irrelevance of Why. Silence the victim. You are trapped in the analysis trap. You think deep thought equals real work. It does not. Your relentless quest to understand why the problem happened is nothing more than sophisticated procrastination. It is an intellectual defense mechanism. It is self-pity dressed up as philosophy. You spend hours dissecting the failure. You map out the sequence of events. You assign blame. You calculate the cost. You run the internal tape, pausing only to relive the perceived slight or the moment of error. Stop. None of that helps. 0% of that analysis moves the needle forward. The crucial truth you must accept right now is this: the cause is irrelevant to the cure. Say it again. The cause is irrelevant to the cure. The cause is history. The cause is data. The cause is a sunk cost. The cure is the future. The cure is action. The cure is power. You are fixating on the information you can no longer change. You are wasting the energy required to change the information you can change. You have a choice. You can live in the rearview mirror, obsessed with the fault line, or you can grip the wheel and navigate the road ahead. That's the key. This obsession with why is an attempt to escape responsibility. If you can perfectly categorize the cause, you think you've done your duty. You think understanding equals resolving. It does not. Understanding is a low-effort substitute for difficult action. It's not about being unlucky. It's about discipline. Let's apply this immediately. Imagine you wake up late. Your alarm failed. It happens. The untrained mind goes straight to the analysis trap. Why did I forget to charge the battery? Why did I trust the app update? If only I had set a backup. Stop. The moment your feet hit the floor, the alarm is broken. That problem is fixed. It is unfixable. The cause is irrelevant to the cure. The new problem is this: you are late. The solution is the objective. The immediate question is not why. The immediate question is, what is the next immediate action? That's the authority gap. When you focus on the problem's origin, you surrender your power to the event. The broken alarm dictates your mood. The missed opportunity defines your day. You become a victim of circumstances you cannot control. But when you instantly ask, what is the next immediate action, you reclaim authority. You don't need their permission. You are the operational commander of your life. A minor setback example. You submit a project and it comes back with major corrections. The untrained mind spends the next 4 hours fixated on why the client or the boss didn't understand the initial vision. Why didn't they give clearer instructions? Why are they changing the goalpost? That is pure leakage. You are hemorrhaging mental energy into a closed loop. The result? You're delaying the corrections. The authority move is to read the feedback once, accept it, and immediately ask, what is the next immediate action? The answer is clear. Open the document and start editing. You have a choice. The most damaging behavior here is the repetitive lie. This is the internal story of why me, or if only. This lie is comfortable. It is a story you tell yourself to soften the sharp edges of reality. It is a mechanism to avoid the hard, non-verbal, non-negotiable work of action. If only I had studied harder. If only I had saved more money. If only they hadn't intervened. This is a lie because it keeps you anchored in a past scenario where you believe you could have maintained control. It is a distraction from the uncomfortable truth that control belongs only to the moment of action. The repetitive lie serves a single destructive purpose. It allows you to feel sorry for yourself, and pity is the antithesis of power. It's not about being perfect, it's about discipline. A final, more complex scenario, a business failure. The untrained mind spends months, sometimes years, analyzing every partner decision, every market pivot, every budget item. They write detailed postmortems for themselves. They believe they are learning. They are just stalling. The action-focused person closes the books, identifies the 2 or 3 non-negotiable lessons, the new operational standards, and then immediately pivots to the next venture. They do not need to perfect the analysis of the first failure to launch the next success. You don't need their permission to move on. Your command from this moment forward is simple. When the problem-seeking mind activates, you must override it with a single thought. Stop narrating the problem. Start dictating the solution. Narration is passive. Dictation is active. Narration is victimhood. Dictation is command. The moment you catch yourself saying, "Why?" replace it with the instant command. What is the next immediate action? Your authority is not in analyzing the fire. It is in grabbing the extinguisher. Your self-respect is not in understanding the crash. It is in building the next vehicle. You are no longer defined by the stories you tell yourself about the past. You are defined by the immediate actions you take right now. The cause is irrelevant to the cure. You've mastered the first pivot, silencing the victim. Now we must transform that silence into explosive forward motion. The true metric of your life is not your intent, it is your output. Chapter 2. The metric of momentum. Action is your only proof. We are done with analysis. Now we talk about the only currency that matters: movement. You are confusing anxiety with effort. You believe the churning in your stomach, the loss of sleep, and the constant mental rehearsal of a problem is a form of work. It is not. That is the illusion of effort. It is the mind tricking itself into thinking that suffering is solving. It is not about your intentions. It is about discipline. Worry is passive. Momentum is proof. Worry is the problem. Momentum is the solution. Worry generates zero outcome. Momentum is the only valid metric of progress you possess. Stop telling yourself you are working on it. If you are not physically or digitally moving the objective forward, you are simply dwelling. You are stalling. You have a choice. You can stay paralyzed by the size of the problem, or you can dismantle it with non-negotiable action. That's the key. Momentum is the process of generating irreversible forward motion. It is the physics of personal transformation. You don't need their permission to start. You don't need to feel ready. You simply need to execute the first tiny, undeniable step. This brings us to the first step formula. When a problem lands, a major project, financial stress, a relationship failure, your brain immediately calculates the distance to the goal. That distance equals resistance. That resistance equals paralysis. The first step formula breaks the resistance instantly. The question is not, how do I finish this massive task? The question must always be, what is the smallest step I can take right now? Let's use the real-world example of financial stress. You owe money. The debt is intimidating. The untrained mind worries about the total number. It projects panic. It thinks about interest rates and the missed opportunities of the past. It feels overwhelmed. It stalls. It does nothing. The solution-focused mind asks the formula question: what is the smallest step I can take right now? The answer is not paying off the debt. That's the final step. The smallest step is opening the spreadsheet. That's it. It takes 3 seconds. That one micro action shatters the illusion of effort. It moves you from passive worry to active confrontation. It creates momentum. Another example. You need to start a challenging exercise regimen. The problem-focused mind thinks about the full hour, the pain, the consistency, and the years of required effort. It immediately fails. the resistance is too high. The formula applies. What is the smallest step I can take right now? The answer is not a marathon. It's putting on the running shoes. That is the single non-negotiable action. Once the shoes are on, the resistance for the next step, walking out the door, is dramatically lower. Momentum builds on itself. It's not about feeling motivated. It's about discipline. Your commitment to action must be drilled relentlessly. Every time a problem arises, the only question allowed is, what is the smallest step I can take right now? You must make the action smaller than the resistance. Sustained repetition is how you rewire your operating system. The moment you feel that old pull toward worry, toward analysis, toward the illusion of effort, you must interrupt it with that single, powerful question. You have a choice. You can entertain the worry, or you can execute the action. Consider a professional scenario. You must write a dense, complicated report. For days, you think about the structure. You research the data. You mentally outline the key arguments. This is all the illusion of effort. 0 words are written. The solution: what is the smallest step I can take right now? The answer is likely, write the single subject line of the document, or type the number 1 on the blank page. That movement, however small, is proof. It is a win. It is the beginning of momentum, and you don't need their permission to type 1 number. You must stop waiting for the grand, perfect plan. The perfect plan is often the enemy of the simple, immediate action. Momentum does not require perfection. It requires only movement. Remember, the metric of your life is not what you think you should do. The metric is your output. Action is your only proof. You have a choice. Start small, but start now. You've mastered the art of immediate action by focusing on the first micro step. Now we must ensure that step is always toward something productive, not toward the avoidance of fear. The greatest problems are simply large action lists that haven't been properly organized. Chapter 3. Deconstruct the dread. Problems are just action lists. We now address the greatest lie you tell yourself, the overwhelm myth. The feeling of being overwhelmed is not a legitimate emotion. It is not an unavoidable state of being. It is a structural failure. It is the failure to properly process a large objective. You are not overwhelmed by the problem. You are overwhelmed by your refusal to break down the solution. It's not about being emotionally sensitive. It's about discipline. Overwhelm is the mental paralysis that occurs when you look at a complex objective as a single, indivisible entity. Your brain sees the mountain and fails to register the path. You must reject this sensation immediately. The truth is simple. Problems are merely action lists in disguise. That's the key. Every single problem, no matter its perceived size, personal, professional, or financial, is not a wall. It is a sequence of steps. Your job is to stop treating the problem like a philosophical hurdle and start treating it like a project management failure. You have a choice. You can collapse under the weight of the total problem, or you can pick up the first tool and start chipping away. This requires task triage, a logical four-step process for instantly turning dread into a dictated action list. Step 1. Define the finish line. State the successful outcome in one sentence, not the current problem, the desired end state. Step 2. Identify the constraint. What is the single biggest obstacle blocking the finish line? Step 3. The breakdown. Immediately create 3 immediate, solvable tasks, not goals, but tasks that directly attack the constraint. Step 4. Execute task 1. Right now. Let's apply this to a relationship crisis. The problem feels vast. My partner and I are drifting apart. The overwhelm is intense. The triage works instantly. Step 1. The finish line. We will restore clarity and respect in our daily communication. Step 2. The constraint. We are avoiding difficult topics. Step 3. The breakdown. 3 tasks. 1. Write down one non-negotiable need I have. 2. Schedule a 15-minute conversation for tonight. 3. Practice listening for 5 full minutes without interrupting. Step 4. Execute task 1. Write down the need. You don't need their permission to apply logic to an emotional problem. You don't need their permission to execute the first task. This process forces the mental switch. The instant you perceive a problem, your internal cue must shift from "this is impossible" to "this is a sequence of steps." Let's look at a daunting career problem. You have a certification exam that is months away, but the sheer volume of material is causing anxiety and avoidance. You are overwhelmed. The untrained mind says, "How can I memorize 50 chapters? Impossible." The solution-focused mind applies triage. Step 1. The finish line. I will pass the exam in 90 days. Step 2. The constraint. The material is too large. Step 3. The breakdown. 3 tasks. 1. Break the material into 90 daily chunks. 2. Review the first 5 pages. 3. Find one reliable online resource. Step 4. Execute task 1. Divide the total pages by 90. It's not about being smart enough. It's about discipline. Notice how none of those tasks are emotionally charged. They are mechanical, administrative, and achievable. You are simply organizing the solution. Problems are merely action lists in disguise. Another complex scenario. You need to clean and reorganize your entire physical environment, your home, your desk, your files. The total chaos creates intense dread. You avoid it for weeks. Triage dictates, Step 1, the finish line. My operational space will be free of clutter. Step 2, the constraint. There is too much physical material to sort. Step 3, the breakdown. 3 tasks. 1. Clear a single 2 by 2 foot area on my desk. 2. Purchase 2 storage containers. 3. Throw away 10 items of trash right now. Step 4. Execute task 1. Clear the 2 by 2 area. You have a choice. You can let the chaos remain abstract and frightening, or you can make it concrete and destroyable. The moment you define the 3 immediate tasks, you neutralize the dread. You break the spell. That's the key. Your commitment to the mental switch must be absolute. The instant you detect the subtle rising feeling of dread or paralysis, you must not indulge it. You must pull out the triage process. Force yourself to dictate the first 3 steps. You don't need their permission to structure your own reality. Remember, the purpose of this work is not just to solve problems, but to permanently change your default operating mode. This is a sequence of steps. That must become your new internal mantra. You have mastered the technique of breaking down any problem into an actionable sequence. But action is meaningless if it's driven by the opinions of others. You must now learn to trust your own execution without needing validation. Chapter 4. The Silent Cost of Seeking Validation. Stop waiting for permission. We are now attacking the insidious habit of seeking external approval for internal solutions. This is the silent cost of seeking validation. You constantly reach out for input, for advice, or for a second opinion on problems that are clearly yours to solve. You call this prudence. It is not. It is outsourcing the difficult responsibility of owning the outcome. It is the external anchor. You are looking for permission. You are searching for a shared blame pool. If the solution fails, you can point to the friend, the mentor, or the colleague who suggested it. This is a sign of weakness. This is a distraction from execution. You don't need their permission. You have the data. You have the triage structure. You have the objective. The time spent seeking consensus is time stolen from action. You have a choice. You can be the decision maker or the discussion starter. The solution-focused life is built on the power of ownership. When you implement a solution without external validation, that action carries infinitely greater internal weight. It builds true self-trust. It hardens your resolve. Your recurring instruction must be, do the work, then tell them it's done. not the other way around. Don't announce the plan. Don't poll the room for feedback on the strategy. Execute the decision, deliver the outcome, and then inform the necessary parties of the result. Your results are your justification. It's not about being popular. It's about discipline. Let's talk about the decisive act. This is where most people fail. They reach the decision point and then they freeze, stuck between solution A and solution B. They spend days or weeks trying to determine which is the best solution. The time spent debating the best solution is time wasted. An imperfect solution executed now is superior to a perfect solution debated forever. That's the key. Consider a business decision. You need to hire a new vendor. You have two options, both 80% effective. You spend 3 days creating a pros and cons list, polling 3 colleagues, and reading a dozen reviews. You are paralyzed by the need for 100% certainty. The decisive act is simply choose one immediately, sign the contract, and move on. If it proves suboptimal, your next action will be the correction. That correction will be faster and cleaner than the original 3 days of analysis. You wasted 72 hours seeking permission for an 80% solution. You have a choice. You can live in analysis, or you can live in the field of action. This applies equally to personal decisions. Imagine you need to cut a toxic contact from your life. The untrained mind writes 3 drafts of the goodbye text. It asks friends how they would handle it. It waits for the perfect moment. It delays. The solution-focused mind recognizes the need for self-preservation. It executes the clean break immediately, without justification, and then directs that saved emotional energy toward the next necessary action. Do the work, then tell them it's done. You don't need their permission. When you seek validation, you introduce noise. You bring in other people's fears, their biases, and their need to protect you from the risk you need to take. Risk is the fertilizer of results. Avoidance of risk is the silent killer of momentum. It's not about avoiding mistakes. It's about discipline. Your commitment must be to the immediate execution of a solution that is simply good enough to create forward motion. Remember the formula: problem, triage, immediate action. There is no space in that sequence for polling the audience. Your commitment to action must be autonomous. The silent cost of validation is time. It is energy. But most critically, it is the erosion of your internal authority. Every time you ask for confirmation, you own life. Stop it. Take ownership. Execute immediately, and let the results speak for themselves. You have now broken the habit of problem narration and the dependence on external validation as a mental anchor. You must learn to face the present moment as if it were entirely new. Chapter 5. The Zero-Based Mindset. Wipe the slate clean. Your history is holding you hostage. Your past successes inflate your ego, making you slow and arrogant. Your past failures paralyze you, convincing you that the outcome is predetermined. Both habits are fatal to solution-focused thinking. You must accept that the past is not a blueprint. Every problem you face right now is independent. It is unique. Referencing past outcomes is another insidious form of procrastination. It allows you to feel busy, comparing two sets of non-existent data. The current moment is all that matters. Your mind defaults to reference. I failed at this type of project before, so I must proceed with extreme caution. Or, I succeeded at this type of project before, so I will use the exact same formula. Both are lies. The context is always new. The resources have shifted. Today's problem is independent. It's not about having experience. It's about discipline. You have a choice. You can let the ghosts of yesterday dictate your moves, or you can become an operational commander living strictly in the now. That's the key. This requires the zero-based solution-finding technique. This technique forces you to wipe the slate clean. You must approach the problem with a deliberate mental reset. You don't need their permission to ignore your own history. The technique is simple. When you face an obstacle, ask yourself the core question. If you had zero resources, zero history, and zero expectation, what is the single most essential action? Strip away the excuses. Strip away the perceived limitations. The answer to that question is often the purest truth. It reveals the single, non-negotiable step that needs to be taken, unburdened by past failures or commitments. Let's use an example of a difficult business investment. Your history tells you I should stick with this because I've already invested 3 years and $50,000. This is the sunk cost fallacy. You are being ruled by history. The zero-based mindset asks you, what if this had never happened? If you were looking at this investment for the very first time right now with fresh capital, would you commit to it? If the answer is no, then the essential action is to extract yourself immediately. Your history is irrelevant to the path forward. Another example. You are in a dead-end professional role. Your history tells you I can't leave because I've spent 10 years building this seniority. You are anchored by time. The zero-based mindset asks you, what if this had never happened? If you were a freshly trained professional right now, would you accept this job? If the answer is no, then the essential action is to initiate the exit strategy. You have a choice. Your past loyalty is irrelevant to your future growth. This is your repetitive mantra. What if this had never happened? Use this question to force the mind away from the problem's origin and onto the current path forward. This mantra destroys the victim narrative that says, I am stuck because of a decision I made years ago. You are not stuck. You are making a fresh decision right now, every single day. It's not about analyzing the commitment, it's about discipline. The power of the zero-based mindset is that it requires you to re-justify every resource, every relationship, and every effort in the present moment. It stops you from mindlessly repeating actions simply because they feel familiar or safe. You don't need their permission to start from zero. This applies even to minor habits. You have a terrible habit of checking social media first thing every morning. Your history tells you, I've done this for 5 years. It's just what I do. The zero-based mindset asks you, what if this had never happened? If your goal is optimal performance and you had never touched a smartphone, what is the single essential action upon waking? It is likely movement. It is likely hydration. It is likely silence. That essential action is the truth. That's the key. Your past is data, not destiny. Your failures are lessons, not shackles. Your successes are benchmarks, not guarantees. Wipe the slate clean. You must commit to this radical presence. Be here fully. The only thing that matters is the single essential action you can take right now, unburdened by the weight of yesterday. You have now established radical self-authority, free from the past and free from validation. But this movement must be emotionally sterile. You must recognize that your feelings are often the greatest enemy of decisive action. Chapter 6. Discipline over emotion. Your feelings are a distraction. We must destroy the mythology of feeling. Your emotions are not guides, they are liabilities. When you are focused on solutions, feelings like frustration, anger, or anxiety are nothing more than the emotional leak. They are energy drains that should be sealed instantly. They serve absolutely no purpose in the objective process of solving a problem. Worry does not pay the bills. Anger does not write the report. Frustration does not fix the relationship. Discipline is the only emotion that matters. Every second you spend indulging a negative feeling, justifying it, analyzing it, explaining it, is a second you are actively delaying the solution. It is a moment of self-sabotage. It's not about being happy. It's about discipline. You have a choice. You can be dictated by your internal state, or you can dictate the required action. That's the key. This requires the immediate implementation of the 60-second rule. When a negative emotion hits, a wave of panic, a sharp spike of irritation, a sudden dread, you give yourself exactly 60 seconds to acknowledge it, not to explore it, not to justify it, simply to name it. Dration. At the 60-second mark, the internal dialogue cuts off. You immediately force your mind back to the task triage list we established in Chapter 3. What is the next immediate action? You seal the leak. You begin the work. You don't need their permission to ignore your own irrational feelings. Let's use an example of frustration. You are working on a complex piece of code or a dense financial model, and you hit a wall. An error message, a formula malfunction. The immediate emotional leak is frustration, maybe even rage. The untrained person throws the pen, slams the laptop, or walks away for an hour to cool down. They have sacrificed momentum to serve a feeling. The disciplined person applies the 60-second rule. I acknowledge the spike of rage. 60 seconds. Time's up. What is the next immediate action? The answer is not walk away. The answer is reread the last 5 lines of code or check the input values. The action is sterile. This leads to the non-negotiable standard. How you feel is irrelevant to what must be done. Your state of mind is a distraction from the objective. It is irrelevant to the structural integrity of the bridge that needs building. It is irrelevant to the logic of the solution you must execute. This acceptance is the definition of true mental toughness. You have a choice. You can wait for the perfect feeling, or you can perform the required action. Consider the anxiety of making a high-stakes phone call. Your anxiety level is at an 8 out of 10. The temptation is to delay, to rehearse, to wait until the anxiety drops to a 3. That delay is the emotional leak. The disciplined person applies the rule. I acknowledge the anxiety. 60 seconds. Time's up. What is the next immediate action? The answer is dial the number. The feeling remains high, but the action is executed. The feeling is irrelevant to the process. It's not about eliminating stress, it's about discipline. We are not aiming for emotional flatness. We are aiming for emotional sterility in the face of necessary action. The feelings can exist, but they must be cordoned off. They must not be allowed to influence the task list. You don't need their permission to focus on the task. When the problem is a massive overhaul, like moving an entire life across the country, the anxiety and sadness can be overwhelming. The temptation is to sit and stare at the boxes, indulging the feeling of loss or dread. The disciplined person applies the 60-second rule, seals the leak, and asks, what is the next immediate action? The answer is tape up box number 3. a purely mechanical, sterile action. The action is the master. The feeling is the servant. You do not wait for the servant to feel ready to obey the master. You command obedience. Your absolute commitment must be to this standard. How you feel is irrelevant to what must be done. Every time you feel resistance, that is your cue. Acknowledge it, dismiss it, and execute the next immediate action. You have now insulated your execution from the sabotage of your own emotions. You are focused, cold, and ready to move. But problems often appear much larger than they truly are because you fail to define the worst possible outcome. It is time to neutralize fear itself. Chapter 7. The Anti-Catastrophe Protocol. Define the worst case. The greatest weapon your problem-focused mind wields against you is fear. It uses catastrophizing, the irrational, magnified imagining of the absolute worst outcome, to trigger the paralysis response. This is the fear loop. When you face a high-stakes decision, your mind doesn't stop at the next step. It jumps 5 steps ahead, past failure, past consequence, and straight into ruin. This abstract, undefined fear is designed to make you freeze. It is a biological error. We flip the script immediately. We do not avoid the worst case. We define it, we neutralize it, and we proceed. It's not about being optimistic. It's about discipline. You have a choice. You can let the abstract fear rule your decision-making, or you can dismantle that fear with logical, brutal honesty. That's the key. This is the Anti-Catastrophe Protocol. The solution is to force yourself to logically define the actual worst-case scenario, not the dramatic Hollywood worst case. The real, factual, verifiable worst thing that can happen. Then you devise a single, simple, one-step solution for that specific, defined outcome. This instantly neutralizes the abstract fear. You don't need their permission to look reality in the eye. Consider a significant professional risk: quitting a stable job to launch your own venture. The fear loop starts immediately. I'll run out of money. I'll fail entirely. I'll lose my house. I'll be an embarrassment to my family. Stop. Define the actual worst case. Actual worst case. The business fails in 6 months. You run through your savings. You are unemployed with 0 revenue. Now, the one-step solution for that specific outcome. I will immediately apply for 3 entry-level contract jobs to stabilize cash flow. That's it. You have planned for absolute failure. You have created an emergency eject button. The fear loses its grip the moment it is forced into a manageable task. You have a choice. You can be paralyzed by the possibility of failure, or you can be prepared for the certainty of it. Another example. You need to have a deeply difficult, crucial conversation, a non-negotiable negotiation. The fear loop suggests they will become angry, they will reject my terms, the relationship will be permanently destroyed. Stop. Define the actual worst case. Actual worst case. The person walks out, refusing to ever speak to you again, and your negotiation terms are rejected. The one-step solution for that specific outcome: I will send one final brief professional email summarizing my non-negotiable position, and then seek an alternative partner or solution. It's not about avoiding consequence. It's about discipline. The reality is that almost every truly catastrophic outcome is survivable. The goal of this protocol is to internalize this reality. Once you have a logical, mechanical plan for the worst possible event, you remove the emotional weight from the current problem. This leads to the empowering refrain: the worst case is survivable. Now, what's next? The ceiling has been defined and secured with an action plan. The remaining solutions are you are now operating from a position of profound safety, not fear. When you internalize this refrain, you stop making decisions based on avoidance. You start making decisions based on optimal results. You don't need their permission to be prepared for the worst. A final, smaller example. You have to make a public presentation, and the fear loop says, I will forget everything. I will freeze. I will look like an idiot. Define the actual worst case. I will forget everything, freeze, and leave the stage. The one-step solution for that specific outcome: I will immediately use the slide deck as my script and read the final slide, thanking the audience for their time. Suddenly, the fear is gone. You have a response to total failure. You have the eject button. The worst case is survivable. Now, what's next? The what's next is the solution. It is the action. It is the task list you were always meant to execute. You have removed the emotional brake. You are now free to focus entirely on success, knowing that failure is already accounted for. You have disarmed fear itself. You are insulated from the past and from emotion. We must now turn this operational freedom into a ruthless efficiency. Solutions thrive not in endless possibility, but in radical, immediate constraint.
Chapter 8. The Power of Constraint. The solution lives in the box. You believe freedom requires infinite options. You believe success requires endless time. This is the abundance lie. It is a fundamental misconception that paralyzes execution. Abundance is the enemy of decisive action. When you give yourself unlimited time, you fill that time with low-value analysis, procrastination, and seeking consensus. When you give yourself too many options, you engage in endless circular debate. Solutions thrive under constraint. The highest quality execution occurs when the resources are scarce, the deadline is harsh, and the options are limited. This forces focus. It forces immediate action. It demands the essential solution. You have a choice. You can drown in infinite possibility, or you can find absolute focus in a tight deadline. That's the key. It's not about having everything you need. It's about discipline. This is why we use the scarcity tactic. This is a technique to artificially limit your resources, time, money, or tools, to force creativity and immediate action. You don't need their permission to impose your own reality. The problem is a luxury you cannot afford. Your brain expands effort to fit the container. If you budget 2 days to solve a specific problem, your brain will efficiently take 48 hours to solve it. This is not efficiency. It is matching capacity to opportunity. The scarcity tactic dictates take a week-long problem and commit to solving it in 6 hours. This is not a suggestion. It is a command. You must execute this command relentlessly. For example, you need to design a new website for a small venture. The natural timeline is 3 weeks of design, testing, and feedback. This is the abundance lie. The scarcity tactic dictates launch a minimum viable product within the next 8 hours. This forces you to eliminate 90% of the non-essential decisions. You use the simplest template. You write the minimal copy. You stop debating the perfect font. You launch the functional solution immediately. The solution lives in the box of time you impose. You have a choice. You can pursue the perfect 3-week solution, or you can get the 80% solution generating revenue in 8 hours. Momentum dictates the answer. It's not about being ready, it's about discipline. Another example, you have a long-deferred list of 10 small home repairs. You keep saying you need a full weekend of time, which never materializes. This is the abundance lie. The scarcity tactic: complete 3 repairs using only the tools currently in your hand in the next 90 minutes. You cannot go to the hardware store. You cannot research better methods. You must use what you have right now. This forces you to find the simple, immediate fixes instead of planning the complex, perfect renovation. Constraint breeds ingenuity. You don't need their permission to simplify the execution. When you face an intimidating negotiation, the constraint can be on information. Limit yourself to 3 core non-negotiable points. You cannot allow the dialogue to sprawl into irrelevant details or emotional history. You constrain the conversation to the essential outcome. This forces a rapid solution. Your command is clear. The time for analysis is over. The time for the solution is now. Use this phrase as a mental disruptor whenever you catch yourself seeking another option, another piece of data, or another opinion. The problem is a luxury you cannot afford to debate. That's the key. The less you have, the sharper your focus must become. The tighter the deadline, the more decisive your action must be. Stop waiting for the ideal conditions. The ideal conditions are the ones you ruthlessly impose upon yourself. You have now mastered the art of constrained, focused action. You are executing without distraction or delay. We must now solidify this by eliminating the need to justify your own existence through endless debate and argument.
Chapter 9. Stop proving and start doing. Your results are your justification. We are now eliminating the final verbal leakage of the solution-focused mind, the need to justify. The constant urge to verbally rationalize a proposed action, to explain your methodology, or to defend a solution before executing it is not professionalism. It is a fundamental weakness. You feel compelled to provide a comprehensive, bullet-pointed defense of your decision to others or even to yourself. This is an attempt to seek pre-approval, to manage external perception, and to mitigate potential criticism. This is still outsourcing your internal authority. It is a waste of time. It is energy misplaced. You are expending energy on words instead of action. It's not about being understood. It's about discipline. You have a choice. You can talk about the work, or you can do the work. That's the key. The only proof required is the result itself. This is the output focus. You don't need to explain the action. You need to deliver the outcome. The principle is non-negotiable. Silence the critics with the outcome. Words are cheap. Results are priceless. Your time is finite. Stop trading execution for explanation. You don't need their permission to be effective. Consider a professional scenario. You decide to completely restructure your team's workflow because the current process is failing. The untrained mind schedules a 1-hour meeting to explain the why, the how, and the benefits to every affected party. They spend days creating presentation slides. The solution-focused mind executes the restructure immediately, sends a brief, factual memo stating the new operational standard, and then uses the 1-hour meeting to review the immediate results and adjust the next steps. Silence the critics with the outcome. The outcome, increased efficiency, justifies the action. You have a choice. You can manage their feelings, or you can manage the result. This applies equally to personal goals. Imagine you decide to adopt a highly disciplined morning routine that requires you to wake up at 5:00 a.m. When friends or family ask why you are doing this, the untrained mind launches into a 3-minute explanation about optimizing circadian rhythms, personal growth, and self-actualization. The solution-focused person simply says, "That's what I do now,"
Or better yet, they don't say anything at all. They simply deliver the result. They are sharper, calmer, and more productive. The result is the explanation. The result is the justification. It's not about being verbose, it's about discipline. We are instituting a 24-hour immediate application challenge right now. Identify one area in your life, a specific project, a new habit, a daily routine where you consistently over-explain. For the next 24 hours, you will act without a single word of justification. When you change your diet, you do not explain the macro counts to your colleagues. When you start running, you do not explain the physiological benefits to your neighbor. You simply do it. You simply execute. The results, the change in your physique, the clarity in your thought, these are the statements that carry weight. They are final. They are non-negotiable. You have a choice. Be a person of declarations or be a person of results. That's the key. The need to justify is a drain on your mental resources. It fractures your focus. It opens the door for debate and doubt, which we eliminated in Chapter 4. This is a final internal purification. Stop speaking about the work and let the work speak for itself. You don't need their permission to be silent. Your commitment to the output focus must be absolute. Focus on the metric of momentum. Focus on the action list. Focus on the single essential step. Let the result be the only voice of authority. You have now built a complete, ironclad operating system. You are free from the problem narrative, free from emotion, free from the past, and free from the need for external validation. You are ready to make this structural change permanent.
Chapter 10. The Permanent Shift Solutions is the default operating mode. This final stage is the integration. The goal of this book was never merely to give you techniques to handle problems. The goal is to establish the new default, the permanent, reflexive, non-negotiable shift in your internal processing system. Your mind must now run on the solution operating system. Problem focus must become physically painful, a sharp, immediate sensory cue that you have deviated from the required path. When you find yourself starting to narrate the why or sinking into the feeling, it must trigger a mechanical rejection. It's not about occasional success. It's about discipline. You have a choice. You can revert to the comfortable, victimized past, or you can commit to the hard, rigorous new path of command. That's the key. You don't need their permission to own your future. This permanent shift is cemented through solution-oriented habit stacking. We take the principles, irrelevance of why, immediate action, task triage, emotional sterility, and stack them onto your smallest daily micro-habits. The most crucial moment of your day is the moment you wake up. This is where the old default tries to re-establish itself. The old default thought, I didn't sleep enough. I feel anxious about the meeting. I wish I didn't have to do X today. Contemplation, problem narrative, emotional leak. The new default thought, action. The very first thought must be an action, not a contemplation. Stack the habit, waking up to action. Instead of a thought, ask, what is the next immediate action? The answer, my feet hit the floor.
Micro-momentum. I drink the water I staged last night. Micro-constraint. This instantaneous pivot sets the operational mode for the entire day. You have already won the first moment by executing a solution, not analyzing a problem. Let's stack the principle of emotional sterility onto a micro-habit. Stack the habit checking the news or email to triage. The instant you read negative information, a setback, a criticism, a failure report, you must skip the emotional leak, the 60-second rule, and go straight to triage. The question, what is the sequence of steps? The task, schedule the required correction call, draft the one-sentence response. You have a choice. You can let the world happen to you, or you can dictate your response to it. It's not about having a routine, it's about discipline. We must integrate the zero-based mindset into your relationship with your time. At the beginning of your workday or before any major task, apply the mantra, "What if this had never happened?" This forces you to re-justify the use of your time right now. Are you working on task B simply because it's a continuation of task A from yesterday, or is it the single most essential action right now? If it's not essential, drop it and pivot to the real solution. The only acceptable state of mind is one actively seeking and building solutions. That is your purpose. Anything less is a regression to the chaos you have fought to escape. You have built an internal fortress against narrative, emotion, and external noise. The work is not over. The work is now the default. You must maintain this standard without compromise. This is your final declaration. This is the truth you now embody. You are no longer defined by your problems. You are the architect of your solutions. You are the operational commander of your life. The problems are irrelevant. The action is absolute. The results are non-negotiable. You must execute the change. You have the tools. You have the mindset. You have the command structure. Now you must act. Listen closely to the final commands.
Listen closely. This is the non-negotiable summary. The problem is a trap. The solution is your freedom. The moment you perceive an obstacle, your internal narrative must instantly pivot. The word why is dead to you. Replace it with the word how. How do I solve this? How do I move forward? How do I build the next step? You do not have the time, the energy, or the mental capacity to entertain the pathology of the past. Your feelings are irrelevant. Your fear is irrelevant. Your history is irrelevant. Only the action matters. You will stop justifying. You will stop explaining. You will stop seeking permission. You are the sole architect. The work is simple, but it is not easy. It demands rigor. It demands discipline. It demands you to stand up and to accept the brutal truth that your success is your own responsibility. Stop running the loop of the victim.
End the conversation with the problem and begin the execution of the solution. This is your life. The time for thinking is over. Execute the change now.